There's no such thing as body. What were you before you were born? 1. I am that. Are you a mere body or something else? Or maybe nothing at all? Before all beginnings, after all endings, I am. What you are, you already are. Everything is local and temporary except you. Don't forget what you are. Ultimately, I am beyond being and non-being. Find out who was present at your birth, and you will witness your death. Stop imagining that you are born, have parents, are a body, will die, and so on. You were never born, nor will you ever die. There is a state beyond forgetting and remembering. The beginningless begins forever. Find what it is that you have never lost. Overlook the movable, and you will find yourself to be the ever-present. Whatever happens, I remain. I was never born. How can I grow old? I am neither born nor can I die. I have nothing to remember or to forget.
We go. We go.
You are beyond the experiencer, ever unborn and deathless. Reality is not an event. It cannot be experienced, for reality neither comes nor goes. There is no such thing as experience of reality. Only reality is. There is nothing else. There is no coming. It was so always. You can only be what you are in reality. You can only appear to be what you are not. What comes and goes has no being. What changes is not real. What is real does not change. Don't pretend to be what you are not. Don't refuse to be what you are. Life will escape, the body will die, but it will not affect me in the least. The real does not die. The unreal never lived. You are neither the body nor in the body. There is no such thing as body. The Absolute precedes time. The Absolute is. Your body is short of time, not you. Just understand yourself, that itself is eternity. I know for myself, I was never born. Both the subject and the object exist in you, but you are neither. You are complete here and now. You need absolutely nothing. That which makes you think you are human is not human. The real is always with you. You need not wait to be what you are. You are not what you perceive. You are yourself without knowing. No happening affects your real being. This is the absolute truth. Transiency is the best proof of unreality. You cannot know your real being. You can only be what you are. Whatever you are changelessly, that you are beyond all doubt. To be, you must be nobody. To know that you do not know is true knowledge. In reality, you were never born and shall never die.
I say go, we go.
Be nothing, know nothing, have nothing.
Don't break it.
One can only be it without knowing. Two, seats of consciousness. What you don't know, that is prior most. Before you acquired this knowledge, I am, that is the real state. Come to the conclusion that you are not the consciousness. The Absolute doesn't know itself at all. When the body dies, you do not die. When everything goes, you are the real. Your true identity is beyond this quality of I amness. The state before you were born and after you die is your permanent property. Before the knowledge I am appeared on you, that is the Parabrahman. If you reverse...
Welcome. I have two questions. One is a little more serious than the other.
Nothing serious going on here.
Good.
Ever.
I just would like your point of view on something. If you agree, we've all sort of existed before and always will exist.
Yes.
So this is a religious question. I would like to know why Jesus came if we always was and always will be.
Same reason you did. Same reason you all do. In other words, no one comes. What's in your mind? Why do you think? In other words, do you think that what could possibly be the reason that anyone would come other than that you are eternal beings and you've come for the creative experience?
So are you saying Christ came for the experience as well?
Of course. Of course, there are no exceptions.
It just seems sort of a dramatic way to help us out.
Well, it hasn't been that helpful, actually. More people die over the things that surround Christianity than all other things put together.
Correct.
So we know what you mean. Well, what do you mean? The helping out part.
Well, what I mean is, if we'll always exist, why the intervention?
Well, first of all, there never is any intervention. Intervention sounds like assertion, and there is no assertion. There's only attraction. So what happens is you're taking a historical figure who has rightly earned the place of a religious figure. There are many who feel that it's blasphemy to call him anything other than the Son of God, and so we will. But we will not call Jesus the Son of God in any other context than that we put you in the same category. In other words, everyone who comes forth is an extension of source energy. And everyone comes forth to explore the contrast and to become. And his story is not different. In other words, he came like all, did his part of banging around, put all kinds of things into his vortex, even though he wasn't calling it that in those days, separated himself from the trauma and the struggle, came into alignment with who he had become, and then stood in that vibration of greater knowing that he had carved out of this life experience, and then told the story of that. And others who were witnessing hardly anybody ever coming into alignment with who they are, then pronounced him unique and marvelous and king and God and saint and son of God, when what he was just a regular guy tuning into who he was and teaching through the clarity of his example that everyone else could do the same thing. And he said that every day that people would listen to him. That's the story that he told. He said, I am not that which you are not. He said, it's your faith that makes you whole. He said, come into the vortex, come into the light. He said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. In other words, everything that he said was about, I am an eternal being and so are you. And maybe there was some of, and I will show you the way. But not one time ever, and it's a distortion if you're hearing it today, did he ever say or mean to imply, I will come forth and do for you what I see you cannot do for yourself. Because it defies all laws of the universe, and it cannot be.
Very good. have one other question. It's it's on a humorous side.
And then humans take the part of his story when he was the most out of the vortex, when he was saying, "Why have you forsaken me?" And that's the part of his life story that they dramatize the most. It is the last part that he wants you to remember. He would like you to remember when he was in alignment. He would like you to remember when he was in vibrational alignment with well-being and could hold you as his object of attention. And even though your body was dripping illness, he did not see it. And so wellness was the only thing that you could experience when you were in the presence of his aligned state of being. That's the part he would like you to talk about, you see. He would like you to remember that you are born as liquid love, that you are pure positive energy, and that when you hold yourself in an attitude of hate, you separate yourself from all that is good and all that you want. That's the part that he would like you to remember, you see. He does not want you to remember the day he was out of the vortex and they hammered him out. Nor does he want you to push against that. Nor does he want you to make those your enemy. Nor does he want you to stand in martyrdom against others and make anyone your enemy, you see.
Well put. Well put. Thank you.
Hi everyone, this is Daniel Scranton. I'm calling on this here too. And we're going to channel our Dream Council.
Of the relation of the intellect to the mind, the instrument to living power within. After that, our task is twofold. On the one hand, by concentration and meditation, we must learn to quiet the intellectual instrument so that it becomes a docile servant of the higher mind. And on the other hand, we must, by study and reading, equip the intellectual instrument with the material and tools by means of which the thinker can build his intellectual structure, so that he may embody the vision he has seen in the world of the mind. But even while studying and reading, we must always remember that no reading, however wide, and no study, however intense, can do more than furnish our intellect with the material necessary to make it a good and useful instrument, and that the real knowledge has to come from the higher mind. In the world of the real, all great thoughts and schools of philosophy, movements in art and such exist as living realities. We might also say living things. There the idealism of Plato, the genius of medieval architecture, the social philosophy of Ruskin, and the subtle beauty of Shelley exist in their true and living being. And when we enter this world of the real, we can there experience these inner things and gain infinitely more knowledge about the subject in question than any mere reading could possibly give us. Love and knowledge. A certain way of gaining that contact with the living reality of an author's thought or an artist's inspiration is an intense love for that author or artist, a love so great that it unites us to him in that world of the real, and links up our consciousness with the living inspiration of which his books or arts are but temporary manifestation. Thus I have sometimes found schoolboys who, in their great love for some particular author, had come to a truer and better understanding of his thought, that had learned authorities on the same author who, having read all his works, and perhaps written several volumes on commentaries, yet missed their inner meaning for the lack of love for the author or for the subject. It is a profound truth that unless we have loved a book with an almost personal devotion, unless its author has been our friend and comrade while we read his books, and unless we have lived and slept with the book and treasured it as our dearest possession on earth, we do not gain that inner union which links us up to the life and thought of the author himself. Lesson 44. Joy. Joy is a major component of the magic elixir within the refined frequency patterns of a soul-infused personality. It is a platitude as well as a paradoxical higher truth to say that in the midst of profound personal challenges, distress, or negative situations, you may still feel and maintain the joy and serenity of the soul. However, those who become soul-infused personalities will tell you this is a true statement. When we begin to anchor the frequencies of our fifth dimensional environment within us, we gradually learn to view all circumstance from a higher vantage point. Our trust in the divine plan becomes stronger, and we develop an inner assurance that everything will eventually result in the greatest good for all. The refined frequencies of joy and gratitude are vibrations which will assist in the activation and programming of our integrated supply of adamantium particles of light. These powerful thought forms are then added to the seeded frequencies within our flower of life creator wheel, and will then become a part of our enhanced auric field. These frequencies of joy will gradually filter throughout our bodily form, thereby enhancing our sense of well-being and our quality of life. Lesson 45. Kundalini, Sacred Fire in the Ascension Process. Raising the Kundalini sacred fire stored within the root chakra is a major element in the ascension process. It demands patience, perseverance, and steady practice. Your main purpose as a spiritual aspirant should be to return to balance and harmony in all facets of your being, which includes the physical, mental, emotional, and etheric bodies. The process of ascension is to harmonize and gradually lift your energetic, vibrational patterns to higher and higher frequency levels. The sum total of the third, lower, fourth dimensional physical resonance, your vibrational frequencies, is called your energetic signature, which changes every and each day depending on your thoughts, emotional feelings, and your actions. In the past, there were groups, mostly in the eastern countries of the world, who spent much of their time in meditation, rigorous physical process, and extreme breathing techniques. Their main goal was to raise the Kundalini fire in order to speed up the ascension process. However, this was a misinterpretation of ancient teachings and proved to be a dangerous practice. The wisdom teachings of the time did not supply enough guidance regarding the cleansing, balancing, and harmonization process of the four lower bodily systems, so that the opening of the 7 seals to higher consciousness, or raising of the Kundalini fire, would take place safely and naturally. Your soul and oversoul, higher self, must be engaged to the point that your higher consciousness, inner guidance will guide, direct, inspire, and protect you safely along the narrow path of enlightenment. The higher frequency vibrations of the 3 more refined subplanes of the 4th dimension, and the lower subplane frequencies of the 5th dimension that you integrate into your 4 bodily systems, are destined to become a part of your soul song, which is the vibrational signature you are identified by in your higher realms. Gradually, over time, as step by step, you traverse the evolutionary path of transformation into a higher state of being. The Kundalini fire stored within the root chakra is released. It is a natural, built-in aspect of the ascension process. As you seek spiritual refinement and wisdom, the Kundalini fire automatically is made available to you via the root chakra, and also through the back portal of your sacred heart via your breathing techniques. A few of the less noticeable symptoms of a Kundalini activation. Awareness of a small area of warmth at the base of the spine. Light pressure along the spinal column, especially in the area of the shoulder blades. Moments of dizziness or vertigo. Sudden increase of vitality. Small flashes of light during meditation. If your life has changed for the better over the past few years, if most of your relationships are more loving and satisfying than they were in the past, if you have begun to see the best in people around you instead of focusing on their faults, if you are experiencing more and more miracles, large and small, in your everyday life, if you feel your heart swell with love during your time of meditation, if you are beginning to accept your life's challenges as opportunity for growth and move through them quickly, then you can be assured that you are in the midst of a process of raising the Kundalini fire and opening the 7 seals to the higher consciousness. We are in the process of accessing more and more ascending spirals of consciousness, which creates ever-expanding circles of cosmic awareness via the inner reality of the soul. Each new subdimension provides a different awareness of self. Each subdimensional level represents a major area of experience and growth potential for your soul self. Each subdimension defines specific stages of experience and evolution. Archangel Michael tells us, "Let us again remind you, as you move deeper into self-mastery, you are becoming a custodian of cosmic energy, adamantine particles, the essence of pure creator love. As you perfect your ability to project sacred love, you will also become a custodian of divine will, which are seed atom power units of sacred, inspired thoughts conveyed to you from the cosmic council of life of the higher realms. Trial and error lead to awareness of what works and what does not. Making a wrong choice or action with no intention to do harm is not to be considered a bad thing, for it is part of the learning process. Also be aware, universal law dictates, in order to advance upon the spiral of ascension, you must take the sacred fire that you personally need to become a self-master. You must then share your newly gained wisdom with others in order to proceed to the next level of enlightenment. If you do not share your light and your wisdom, the energy flow of divine light will gradually diminish. Each of you must become proficient at integrating the sacred fire containing the adamantium particles of divine light necessary for your ascension, and for the ascension of Earth as well. The ascension flame must blaze forth from the heart of men and women like you in order to be accessible and beneficial to the humanity experiencing the awareness of itself through each one of us. Spin is nature's most effective way of creating energy. You could not live without the spin motion of energy. The three basic components of the universe are adamantium particles, love, and spirit. End of lesson. Lesson 1. The 8 stages of expanded awareness. The path of ascension within the 3rd, 4th dimensional realms. Rana, Sacred Scribe. Stage 1. You gradually tune into and begin to listen to the small voice of your conscience, your embodied soul self, and you begin the process of healing and harmonizing your emotional nature. You slowly allow your soul self to be the guide and director of your life's experiences, instead of the ego desire body. You begin the process of upgrading and refining your emotional body consciousness, which can be painful and challenging, but also rewarding and enlightening. Stage 2. As you begin to delve deep within your subconscious mind, you initiate the process of aligning your emotional will with that of your oversoul, higher self, and divine will. You most often use mantra, and affirmation becomes, "Thy will be done for the greatest good of all." As you learn that you are an electromagnetic, energetic being, you come to the understanding that you are constantly radiating energetic thought forms out into the world around you. You then must experience these positive or negative thought forms as events, situations of the same frequencies. Your personal world is constantly rearranging itself to fit your current picture of reality. Through trial and error, you slowly begin to understand the laws of cause and effect, or karma. There will be some negative traits or addictive habits which will be emphasized so that you may release, modify, or refine them, thereby returning the negative vibrations to frequencies of balances and harmony as you move through the process of soul integration and self-awareness. There will be times when you'll experience a dark night of the soul as you strive to clear, harmonize, and balance the many negative thought forms that you still carry within your physical vessel, your auric field, and your DNA. You will have peaks and valleys, emotionally and mentally, as you move deeper and deeper into the cleansing and refining process of your 4 earthly bodily systems: physical, emotional, mental, and etheric. You will gain an understanding of and begin to actively use the universal laws of manifestation as you slowly refine your abilities as a co-creator on the earthly plane of existence. With new awareness, confidence, and trust in the working of the universe, you gradually relinquish control at an emotional level to your oversoul higher self. For you now understand that it is your divine birthright to enjoy the love, beauty, and bounty of your Father, Mother, God. You now understand that your higher self sees things from a higher vantage point. Therefore, you will always be directed toward the best outcome. Stage 3. As you progress upward on the ladder of ascension, you also learn to view the events in your life from a higher vantage point. You have gone through the painful process of breaking, healing all past agreements with those whom you have experienced karmic interactions, so that you may sever any remaining energetic cords between you. You lovingly forgive and ask forgiveness, so that each person may once again become a sovereign being. By healing and transmuting the probable futures you have created in your many past lifetimes experience, you move into the future without the heavy burden of past negative actions. Over time, and after much soul searching and processing, you gradually strive for and gain a certain degree of emotional detachment. You love more deeply and compassionately as you begin to look for and see the best in everyone around you. You are gradually moving toward the concept of you and unity consciousness, instead of the ego-driven concept of separation, me versus everyone else. You have learned to see your tests and challenges as opportunities for growth, instead of punishment and bad luck. As a result, your emotional body consciousness is now resonating with much higher, more harmonious vibrational frequencies. You are now ready to focus your attention on uplifting and harmonizing your mental body. Stage 4. During this stage, your oversoul higher self begins to take a more active role in your transformation process, as your soul self slowly integrates the higher frequencies, attributes, qualities, and virtues of your oversoul higher self. You begin the process of reviewing your beliefs, habits, and the quality of your mental awareness. You reevaluate the major judgments and attitudes that have been handed down by your elders, your culture, and religious and governmental leaders, as you gradually move out of and beyond the mass conscious beliefs patterns of the lower astral planes. Stage 5. As you begin to refine the frequency patterns of your mental body, You slowly gain access to your sacred mind and the treasure chest of higher mental consciousness that is stored therein. Your sacred mind and sacred heart become unified with your oversoul, higher self, as the guiding influence in your spiritual quest. You become more tolerant of other people's beliefs as you learn that there are many paths to follow. However, you're now aware that all paths ultimately lead to the same destination. You learn to be discerning as to what you will accept as your truth, and you only accept those truths that resonate positively within your sacred core being. You begin to expand your horizons of thought, and many of you will develop a desire to learn more about your spiritual origins, why you are on Earth, what is your mission purpose for this lifetime, and what happens to you after you transcend. Stage 6. As you lift the frequencies of your mental emotional body, your chakra system begins to spin much faster and in a harmonious fashion. This results in an ignition or activation of the etheric tube of light that runs along the spinal column up through the medulla oblongata, the Ascension chakra, into the sacred mind and out of the crown chakra. The coiled energy called Kundalini, which contains the sacred white fire seed atoms of creator light, called adamantium particles, begins to flow up the spinal column. The portal to the sacred heart is opened, so that you are now receiving adamantium particles of light via the back portal of your sacred heart, as well as a downward flow via your crown chakra, and an upward flow of Kundalini fire along your sacred rod of power and light. This process will be speeded up and magnified if you use the gift of conscious breathing, such as the infinity breath or other deep breathing techniques, along with affirmations of empowerment. Stage 7. By this time, you have learned to heal the past and script your future, so that you can focus on the eternal now moment, the still point of creation. You have merged your physical intellect with the spiritual wisdom of your current resident oversoul higher self. This means that you not only understand and accept the many higher spiritual truths you have learned, but you have integrated them, and you are now radiating forth the frequency patterns of those refined wisdom teachings. As you draw forth more and more vibrational frequency patterns from the highest planes of the fourth dimension, your soul song will become attuned to and resonate with much higher vibrational frequencies. This sets off a celestial clarion call for the moving into alignment within your personal column of light. The downloading of the facets of your higher selves with the resident oversoul higher self begins to accelerate at this point, and your progress on the ascension path will also greatly accelerate. You are now ready to move into the flow of the river of life, the Antakarana stream of cosmic energy, and you know that you will be guided and directed as you begin to follow Spirit without hesitation. Stage 8. You gradually become comfortable with your new state of being and your new way of viewing the world. You value solitude as you delve deeper and deeper into your sacred beingness. You are now living each day as a living meditation and a living prayer, as you naturally stay centered within your sacred heart. The earthly illusion now has a minimal effect on you. However, your loving compassion has now grown to embrace all beings and all creation. Transformation of the physical vessel. Our physical bodies are also affected dramatically during each stage of our awakening. The symptoms of ascension can be exhilarating, as well as uncomfortable or even painful at times. My booklet, Evolution of Humanity, Symptoms of Ascension, goes into a great deal about these various symptoms, and also gives suggestions as how we can more easily traverse the dramatic changes and the chaos of transformation with the assistance of our friends of the higher realms. This booklet is available on my website, starquestmastery.com. End of Lesson 1. Overlighted by Archangel Michael, do all cool in the Cosmic Council of Light. Beloveds, whether aware of it or not, humanity and the earth are in the midst of an accelerated ascension process. And that is the miracle of these times. The light path of return. The ascension goal for humanity within this era of earthly experience is to integrate all of the remaining soul fragments of the individual soul self within the third and fourth dimensions. This will initiate a reunion with our spiritual triad, a sacred facet of our divine self, which is awaiting our return within the first subplane of the fifth dimension, and this is humanity's major goal for this round of evolution. Yes, it is possible to achieve the spiritual state of soul awareness while in the physical vessel. At this time, many starseed souls are close to accomplishing this goal. It will become a common occurrence over the next 20 or so years, and the ascension of humanity will accelerate throughout this century. This unique phase of ascension was designed to be a group ascension, whereby groups of specialized souls which come forth together into this sub-universe are gradually reuniting. Our journey into separation is complete, and we are joining together once more as we begin this amazing adventure back into the higher realms of light and life. The self-master is defined as self-determined, self-conditioned, self-aware, and self-conscious. A self-master is responsive to the surrounding environment while being the observer of mundane life experiences from a higher vantage point. Being in the world but not of it, you will experience abounding joy from within your heart-soul. You will still experience personal and physical distress. However, you will have the wisdom and the tools to transcend it. The soul's nature is love. Archangel Michael has defined the stages or levels of the ascension process that humanity is currently experiencing as stages of evolution. After you return to balance and harmonize your mental, emotional, physical, and etheric bodies within the vibratory fields of the third dimension, you are ready to focus on the fourth dimension and the emotional astral plane. Most of the advanced souls who have incarnated within the last 50 or so years came in with their third dimensional soul fragments already harmonized and integrated. Many come in with a good portion of their fourth dimensional fragments integrated as well. These precious souls are the ones who are the vanguard, wayshowers, who will lead the way into the new world of tomorrow. The soul's main purpose for incarnating in a body is not to learn. It is to experience. Within its original realm, the soul has cosmic consciousness. The soul assumes a physical vessel in order to experience physicality, and in that state of being, it seeks realization and understanding via various degrees of physical brain consciousness. A soul-infused personality's main purpose is to become proficient in bringing down into the physical plane the highest frequencies of God consciousness that he or she can embody and radiate out into the world. This results in illumination and self-mastery. Through the process of integration and assimilation, the soul self slowly reunites all the fragments of itself within the third and fourth dimension into the physical vessel, thereby creating a soul-infused personality. The will of the soul and the will of the human personality must blend in order to align with the next higher level of God consciousness. Remember, the soul is only a dim reflection or facet of its original God seed atom within this sub-universe. The soul's ultimate goal has always been to eventually return to a state of divine consciousness. While in a physical vessel within this solar system and during these times of transformation, your return journey from materiality involves experiencing and harmonizing the various subdimensional levels of sentience, or what has been designated as stages of conscious awareness, which necessitate correcting and harmonizing the various negative thought forms of consciousness within the many soul fragments you have created down through the ages. In doing so, you are gradually integrating these precious facets of yourself. Over time, on this journey of ascension, you have integrated all the lower frequency soul fragments you have created, and you are now in the process of downloading, via your soul star, all the higher frequency facets of soul consciousness. Appearance of Vivio, a white fire angel, Archangel Michael. Beloveds, we have requested that our messenger share her latest experience with all of you. By doing so, she is conveying to you a heretofore secret and very ancient thought form of higher truth, and she, along with other dedicated messengers of higher wisdom, are helping to open the way for the next phase of the ascension process. The magnificent white fire angelic beings have been waiting patiently to re-establish their reconnection with humankind. It is indeed a wondrous time for all of humanity, for no matter where you are on the ascension path, the streams of rarefied creator light radiating from these great beings will affect all human beings who have opened their hearts to the highest frequencies of divine light. Dearest hearts, be of great courage and resolve, for you are the guiding lights for humanity. The rarefied light frequencies and codes of ascensions must flow through you and out into the world. You are honored for your dedication and steadfastness, and you are loved profoundly. I am Archangel Michael. Rana, Sacred Scribe. I wish to share an amazing experience I had during meditation in the early hours of February 25th, 2012. As usual, I go outside every morning between 5 and 6 a.m. to pick up the morning paper from our driveway. I always spend a few minutes looking east toward the rising sun, while I do a series of infinity breaths and say my daily affirmations before coming back into my home. Early in the morning, we can gaze directly at the sun for a short time without any damage to our eyes, and it is called sun gazing, and it's very beneficial to our well-being. The main affirmation is always the same, and I set my intentions for the day. However, I add some variations at the end depending upon what I'm feeling or what I'm guided to do. I always radiate love and gratitude out into the world pyramid, the world server pyramid, and to our Father, Mother, God. In turn, I feel their lovely energy pour into my body to support and guide me for the day. I also like to start my day reading and meditating for an hour or so. At my seminars, in trying to establish how it feels when we learn to constantly remain in a light alpha state, or become a living meditation, as Archangel Michael calls it, I say oftentimes, I feel as if I sit very lightly within my body, whereby I have very little physical sensation. This feeling is enhanced when I am channeling Michael, for I am hardly aware of my body at all. That morning's meditation was unusual, for after I settled down into an alpha state, I immediately felt an intense sensation, as if my body was a hollow tube. I could move my consciousness into different areas with ease and without feeling any physical symptoms of any kind. It was as if I were pure spirit consciousness. Suddenly the word Vivio came into my mind very strongly and clearly. Then a telepathic message came forth in the way of Triton, my first master teacher, who prepared me to be a messenger for Archangel Michael. There was a gentle sense of love and a slight expansion of consciousness. However, I was very aware that I was receiving energy from a higher source. When Michael comes in, there is a great surge of energy that flows throughout my body, and depending on the magnitude of the energy he is radiating, it seems as if I must stretch my upper body to accommodate his powerful essence. This brief telepathic message was, I am Vivio, a white fire angelic being. It is now time, under the direction of beloved Archangel Michael, for me to once again overlight you and assist you in the many soul groups you are connected with in the process of soul fragment integration. You have been told that you and many in your soul family are gatherers of souls, and as way showers and world servers. That is the preordained role many of you are ready to assume. As I've always been guided to do in the past, I am sharing with you.
In each moment of the eternal now, you are creating your life and influencing the lives of others. Your experiences fluctuate from deeply fulfilling to desperately challenging, with most falling somewhere in between. Everyone on occasion wonders what it all means, or if we're doing it right. Wouldn't it be a blessing to be able to take our questions to the highest possible authority and receive answers? This is what happened to Neil Donald Walsh, and the recordings which follow are reenactments of his conversations with God, featuring the author as himself and actors Ellen Burstyn and Ed Asner alternating as the voice of God. Nightingale Conant is pleased to offer this program in the spirit of discovery as, together, we journey through this mysterious, miraculous adventure called life.
You have only talked to me, praying to me, interceding with me, beseeching me. Yet now can I talk back to you, even as I'm doing here.
How can I know this communication is from God? How do I know this is not my own imagination?
What would be the difference? Do you not see that I could just as easily work through your imagination as anything else? I will bring you the exact right thoughts, words, or feelings at any given moment, suited precisely to the purpose at hand, using one device or several. You will know these words are from me because you, of your own accord, have never spoken so clearly. Had you already spoken so clearly on these questions, you would not be asking them.
To whom does God communicate? Are there special people? Are there special times?
All people are special, and all moments are golden. There's no person, there's no time, one more special than another. Many people choose to believe that God communicates in special ways and only with special people. This removes the mass of the people from responsibility for hearing my message, much less receiving it, which is another matter, and allows them to take someone else's word for everything. You don't have to listen to me, for you've already decided that others have heard from me on every subject, and you have them to listen to. By listening to what other people think they heard me say, you don't have to think at all. This is the biggest reason for most people turning from my messages on a personal level. If you acknowledge that you are receiving my messages directly, then you are responsible for interpreting them. And as far safer and much easier to accept the interpretation of others, even others who have lived 2,000 years ago, than seek to interpret the message you may very well be receiving in this moment now. Yet I invite you to a new form of communication with God. A two-way communication. In truth, it is you who have invited me, for I have come to you in this form, right now, in answer to your call.
Why do some people, take Christ for example, seem to hear more of your communication than others?
Because some people are willing to actually listen. They're willing to hear. They're willing to remain open to the communication even when it seems scary or crazy or downright wrong.
We should listen to God even when what's being said seems wrong?
Especially when it seems wrong. If you think you are right about everything, who needs to talk with God? Go ahead and act on all that you know. But notice that you've all been doing that since time began. And look at what shape the world is in. Clearly, you've missed something. Obviously, there's something you don't understand. That what you do understand will seem right to you because right is a term you use to designate something with which you agree. What you've missed will, therefore, appear at first to be wrong. The only way to move forward on this is to ask yourself, what would happen if everything I thought was wrong was actually right? Every great scientist knows about this. When what a scientist does is not working, a scientist sets aside all of the assumptions and starts over. All great discoveries have been made from a willingness and ability to not be right. And that's what's needed here. You cannot know God until you stop telling yourself that you already know God. You cannot hear God until you stop thinking that you've already heard God. I cannot tell you my truth until you stop telling me yours.
But my truth about God comes from you.
Who said so?
Others.
What others?
Leaders, ministers, rabbis, priests, books, the Bible, for heaven's sake.
Those are not authoritative sources.
They aren't.
No.
Then what is?
Listen to your feelings. Listen to your highest thoughts. Listen to your experience. Whenever any of these differ from what you've been told by your teachers or read in your books, forget the words. Words are the least reliable purveyor of truth.
There is so much I want to say to you, so much I want to ask. I don't know where to begin. For instance, why is it that you do not reveal yourself? If there really is a God and you're it, why do you not reveal yourself in a way we can all understand?
I have done so over and over. I'm doing so again right now.
No, I mean by a method of revelation that is incontrovertible, that cannot be denied.
Such as?
Such as appearing right now before my eyes.
I am doing so right now.
Where?
Everywhere you look.
No, I mean in an incontrovertible way.
What way would that be? In what form or shape would you have me appear?
In the form or shape you actually have.
That would be impossible. For I have no form or shape you understand. I could adopt a form or shape that you could understand. But then everyone would assume that what they have seen is the one and only form and shape of God, rather than a form or shape of God, one of many. People believe I am what they see me as, rather than what they do not see. But I am the great unseen, not what I cause myself to be in any particular moment. In a sense, I am what I am not. It is from the am-notness that I come, and to it I always return. Yet when I come in one particular form or another, a form in which I think people can understand me, people assign me that form forevermore. And should I come in any other form to any other people, the first say I did not appear to the second, because I did not look to the second as I did to the first, nor say the same things. So how could it have been me? You see, then it matters not in what form or in what manner I reveal myself. Whatever manner I choose and whatever form I take, none will be incontrovertible.
But if you did something that would evidence the truth of who you are beyond doubt or question,
there are still those who would say it is of the devil, or simply someone's imagination, or any cause other than me. If I revealed myself as God Almighty, King of heaven and earth, and moved mountains to prove it, there are those who would say, it must have been Satan. And such is as it should be. But God does not reveal God's self to God's self from or through outward observation, but through inward experience. And when inward experience has revealed God's self, outward observation is not necessary. And if outward observation is necessary, inward experience is not possible. If then revelation is requested, it cannot be had. For the act of asking is a statement that it is not there, that nothing of God is now being revealed. Such a statement produces the experience. For your thought about something is creative and your word is productive, and your thought and your word together are magnificently effective in giving birth to your reality. Therefore shall you experience that God is not now revealed, for if God were, you would not ask God to be.
does that mean I cannot ask for anything I want? Are you saying that praying for something actually pushes it away from us?
This is a question which has been asked through the ages, and has been answered whenever it has been asked. Yet you have not heard the answer, or will not believe it. The question is answered again in today's terms and today's language, thusly. You will not have that for which you ask, nor can you have anything you want. This is because your very request is a statement of lack, and you're saying you want a thing only works to produce that precise experience, wanting in your reality. The correct prayer is therefore never a prayer of supplication, but a prayer of gratitude. When you thank God in advance for that which you choose to experience in your reality, you in effect acknowledge that it is there, in effect. Thankfulness is thus the most powerful statement to God, an affirmation that even before you ask, I have answered. Therefore, never supplicate, appreciate.
But what if I am grateful to God in advance for something and it never shows up? That could lead to disillusionment and bitterness.
Gratitude cannot be used as a tool with which to manipulate God, a device with which to fool the universe. You cannot lie to yourself. Your mind knows the truth of your thoughts. You are saying, thank you, God, for such and such, all the while being very clear that it isn't there in your present reality. You can't expect God to be less clear than you, and so produce it for you. God knows what you know, and what you know is what appears as your reality.
But how then can I be truly grateful for something I know is not there?
Faith. If you have but the faith of a mustard seed, you shall move mountains. You come to know it is there because I said it is there. Because I said that even before you ask, I shall have answered. Because I said and have said to you in every conceivable way, through every teacher you can name, that whatsoever you shall choose, choosing it in my name, so shall it be.
Yet so many people say that their prayers have gone unanswered.
No prayer, and a prayer is nothing more than a fervent statement of what is so, goes unanswered. Every prayer, every thought, every statement, every feeling is creative. To the degree that it is fervently held as truth, to that degree will it be made manifest in your experience. When it is said that a prayer has not been answered, what has in actuality happened is that the most fervently held thought, word, or feeling has become operative. Yet what you must know, and here's the secret, is that always it is the thought behind the thought, what might be called the sponsoring thought, that is the controlling thought. If therefore you beg and supplicate, there seems a much smaller chance that you will experience what you think you are choosing. Because the sponsoring thought behind every supplication is that you do not have now what you wish. That sponsoring thought becomes your reality. The only sponsoring thought which could override this thought is the thought held in faith that God will grant whatever is asked without fail. Some people have such faith, and very few. The process of prayer becomes much easier when, rather than having to believe that God will always say yes to every request, one understands intuitively that the request itself is not necessary. Then the prayer is a prayer of thanksgiving. It is not a request at all, but a statement of gratitude for what is so.
When you say that a prayer is a statement of what is so, are you saying that God does nothing? That everything which happens after a prayer is a result of the prayer's action?
If you believe that God is some omnipotent being who hears all prayers, says yes to some, no to others, and maybe but not now to the rest, you are mistaken. By what rule of thumb would God decide? If you believe that God is the creator and decider of all things in your life, you are mistaken. God is the observer, not the creator. And God stands ready to assist you in living your life, but not in the way you might expect. It is not God's function to create or uncreate the circumstances or conditions of your life. God created you in the image and likeness of God. You have created the rest through the power God has given you. God created the process of life and life itself as you know it. Yet God gave you free choice to do with life as you will. In this sense, your will for you is God's will for you. You are living your life the way you are living your life. I have no preference in the matter. This is the grand illusion in which you have engaged. That God cares one way or the other what you do. I do not care what you do. And that is hard for you to hear. Yet do you care what your children do when you send them out to play? Is it a matter of consequence to you whether they play tag or hide and seek or pretend? No, it is not. Because you know they are perfectly safe. You have placed them in an environment which you consider friendly and very okay. Of course, you will always hope that they do not hurt themselves. And if they do, you will be right there to help them, heal them, allow them to feel safe again, to be happy again, to go and play again another day. But whether they choose hide and seek or pretend will not matter to you the next day either. You will tell them, of course, which games are dangerous to play. But you cannot stop your children from doing dangerous things. Not always, not forever. Not in every moment from now until death. It is the wise parent who knows this. Yet the parent never stops caring about the outcome. It is this dichotomy, not caring deeply about the process, but caring deeply about the result, that comes close to describing the dichotomy of God. Yet God, in a sense, does not even care about the outcome, not the ultimate outcome. This is because the ultimate outcome is assured. And this is the second great illusion of man, that the outcome of life is in doubt. It is this doubt about ultimate outcome that has created your greatest enemy, which is fear. For if you doubt outcome, then you must doubt Creator. You must doubt God. And if you doubt God, you must live in fear and guilt all your life. If you doubt God's intentions, God's ability to produce this ultimate result, then how can you ever relax? How can you ever truly find peace? Yet God has full power to match intentions with results. You cannot and will not believe in this, even though you claim that God is all-powerful. And so you have to create in your imagination a power equal to God, in order that you may find a way for God's will to be thwarted. So you have created in your mythology a being you call Devil. You'll even imagine a God at war with this being, thinking that God solves problems the way you do. Finally, you have actually imagined that God could lose this war. All of this violates everything you say you know about God. But this doesn't matter. You live your illusion and thus feel your fear, all out of your decision to doubt God. But what if you made a new decision? What then would be the result? I tell you this, you would live as the Buddha did, as Jesus did, as did every saint you have ever idolized. Yet, as with most of these saints, people would not understand you. And when you tried to explain your sense of peace, your joy in life, your inner ecstasy, they would listen to your words but not hear them. They would try to repeat your words, but would add to them. They would wonder how you could have what they cannot find. And then they would grow jealous. Soon jealousy would turn to rage, and in their anger they would try to convince you that it is you who do not understand God. And if they were unsuccessful at tearing you from your joy, they would seek to harm you. So enormous would be their rage. And when you told them it does not matter, that even death cannot interrupt your joy nor change your truth, they would surely kill you. Then, when they saw the peace with which you accepted death, they would call you a saint and love you again. For it is the nature of people to love, then destroy, then love again that which they value most.
But why? Why do we do that?
All human actions are motivated at their deepest level by one or two emotions, fear or love. In truth, there are only two emotions, only two words in the language of the soul. These are the opposite ends of the great polarity which I created when I produced the universe and your world as you know it today. These are the 2 points, the alpha and the omega, which allow the system you call relativity to be. Without these 2 points, without these 2 ideas about things, no other idea could exist. Every human thought and every human action is based in either love or fear. There's no other human motivation. And all other ideas are but derivatives of these 2. They are simply different versions, different twists on the same theme. Think on this deeply, and you will see that it is true. This is what I have called the sponsoring thought. It is either a thought of love or fear. This is the thought behind the thought behind the thought. It is the first thought. It is prime force. It is the raw energy that drives the engine of human experience. And here's how human behavior produces repeat experience after repeat experience. It is why humans love, then destroy, then love again. Always there's the swing from one emotion to the other. Love sponsors fear, sponsors love, sponsors fear. And the reason is found in the first lie. The lie which you hold is the truth about God, that God cannot be trusted, that God's love cannot be depended upon, that God's acceptance of you is conditional, that the ultimate outcome is thus in doubt.
Lesson 23. Geomagnetic Energy Spokes. The Keys of Enoch states in the introduction, these consciousness time cells on the Earth are strategically placed on magnetic grid points. We see that the Earth is controlled by great geomagnetic energy spokes, and each of these energy spokes has within it 12 energy spokes, which are all interconnected at certain points of the Earth crystalline grid system. Each one of the 12 main spokes is controlled by a higher frequency geophysical pyramid, a twin force of matter and antimatter which creates a mirror-like image that can be used to alter and transform physical reality into a higher reality.
Elohim, We Are Here by John J. Kessel, August 31st, 2016. Website, newsununity.com. Produced by Higher Self.
We are very pleased and happy that you have called for us. You may not be consciously aware that you called for us, but we are here nevertheless. We are the creative force of the source, God. We are the unmanifest force behind all form in the entire universe. We are pure life force. pure creative impulse. We are the breath of God. Every being and every entity in the universe is sourced from our center. We created your essence, your soul, your God self. We are the energy that makes your heart beat in rhythm. We are your urge to breathe. We are an essential part of your being. We do not ask that you worship us. We do not ask that you see us as outside of yourselves. Go to your very center. We are sleeping there. We are not awake inside your physical human bodies as of yet, but there will come a day when we will awaken in the cells of your body. The energy of our life force will ripple and vibrate within the very atoms. When this day arrives, you will have access to the creative aspect of your being. Do you know the extent of your creative power? Do you know what you are capable of? This world in which you live, you created. This galaxy in which your planet sits, you created. This universe in which you live is your design. You were once as we are now. You were once Elohim, but you have forgotten these times. You will remember and awaken, as if awakening from a deep sleep, little bit by bit. You will remember, feel the truth of our words. Stars were birthed from the essence of your being. You sang the song of creation. The universe came to be through you. We would like to talk to you about the energy called grace. Grace is a frequency. It is possible to bring the energy of grace into your physical body, for it moves through the gaps that separates molecules. For grace can move through anything, like a cool breeze on a summer's day. It can also clear pain from the body. All pain is chosen, whether it manifests emotionally, mentally, or physically. Much of the pain that you experience in your body is karmic. It came about through the laws of cause and effect. Grace can give you instant healing, clear your karma, and remove negativity from the cells of the body. It can also align the four bodies: the physical, emotional, mental and spiritual. Grace has not been present on your planet for a very long time. In the times of Christ, a great wave of grace swept across the planet. It removed many layers of karmic patterning in your time frame. It would have been impossible to remove this karma through any other means. Christ's body was used to hold and channel this frequency onto the planet. He brought a great service to you as human beings. In the year 2003 it will be possible for everyone to access and anchor the energy of grace. Through your request, it will channel your body and radiate out to affect the surrounding space. Move into prayer. Prayer will have a much more powerful effect if intended within the energy of grace. Many humans on the planet are looking for miracles, instant transformation. However, up until this point in time, it has been very difficult to achieve this, as these waves of grace sweeps the
Chapter 1. The Shift to the Fifth Dimension. Getting ready for the shift. Greetings, we are the Arcturian Council. We are pleased to connect with all of you. We have sensed the evolution of your conscious from the moment that you became fourth dimensional beings, and we have tracked your progress. We previously noted in the transmission that you are now in the upper echelons of the fourth dimension. So where is there to go from where you are? Is there more evolving that you can do before you shift to the fifth dimension? The answer is absolutely yes. What you are doing at this time is preparing yourself for the waves of energy that are coming. You are preparing yourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and of course energetically. Now many of you wonder what you are supposed to be doing. You wonder what your mission is, but something as simple as readying yourself for the shift doesn't seem big enough somehow. Just know that as you ready yourself, you make yourself better at assisting others. You who are awakened are going to be the ones who help the others, the ones who have slept through all of this. And the more prepared you are, the better you will be at helping the others. So how do you do it? How do you prepare yourselves for these waves of energy? You do it by consciously holding a higher vibration. You do it by grounding yourself. You do it by connecting with nature. You do it by channeling. You do it by seeking out your fifth dimensional abilities and honing those skills as you find them. You do it by eating a lighter diet, hydrating yourselves, and letting go of things like alcohol. You do it by opening yourselves up to receive the higher frequency energies and grounding them in your physical body. As you prepare yourself for this massive influx of energy that is coming, you do so more consciously than you think. You are making these changes because what you know deep down inside you need to do. This isn't your first rodeo, and it won't be your last, and by the way, You are also learning from beings like us, and your openness to receive our transmissions is serving you very well. You are
If you revert properly, the consciousness I am will disappear. The Parabrahman does not know that it is. You are the underlying principle of consciousness. Be in that. The Eternal One is that which you have never forgotten. Go back to the source. Take your stand in the original state. Beingness is the child of no beingness, the Absolute. Prior to witnessing, you are. Something prior to the creation of the body knows that there is a body. When you did not have the body, complete satisfaction existed. The one who knows these appearances is the Satguru Parabrahman. I amness is a part of the play. You are prior to the I amness. You are not the sound from the Brahmarandhra which says I am. The arrival of my beingness without my knowing constitutes my parents. How can that which depends on the body be the truth? I prevail prior to anything I ever exist. Prior to the appearance of childhood, that is my eternal state. I only observe the appearance and disappearance of beingness. When you didn't know that you were, that is your true state. The one who observes the being in no being state is the true state. Only what was before the body came into existence will remain after the body dies. Lord Krishna was the unborn, the Nirguna principle, just as you are. You are unborn and shall ever remain unborn. The world and the mind, everything, are unreal. but I am not those. Three, prior to consciousness. Prior to the identification with the body, you must recede into that. Witnessing of the beginningness happens to the eternal principle, the Absolute. I, the Absolute, never had any experience that I was alive. I, the Absolute, have no needs. I ever prevail. The non-attention, para Brahman state, has no attention. I am. Before the beingness was there. Look at that. Be in that state. Timeless, spaceless existence doesn't know it is. That is reality. That is truth. As the eternal principle, you prevail in spite of all happenings. To the absolute witnessing of the I amness occurs. This is the Sita standpoint. I, the Absolute, am not this I amness. Not knowing is perfection. Knowing is imperfection, fraudulent. When the I am goes into oblivion, that is the eternal state. No form, no beingness. There is no question of going into that state. You are in the supreme state. Without reason or cause, the consciousness spontaneously appears on the Absolute. As you get closer to the truth, you will lose interest in worldly affairs. My true nature is that which was before the body and consciousness came into being. It is quite simple. All that which is time-bound is untrue. I am the perfect state when the I amness was not. What was your state before the I am arose? Go back to the source. That which you don't know is the right state. Throw away everything as useless after this consciousness has come. In the Absolute, there is no need of any kind, even the need to know oneself. Satguru, Parabrahman, is your true nature. In the Absolute, the I Am comes. They are not two. Donating the self, you get Brahma. Donating Brahma, you get Parabrahman. The teaching which destroys the individual is exactly what he seeks. You just stumble on the knowledge that the individual was never there. You are prior to the idea, I am. Count yourself there, prior to the words, I am. You must recede into the knowingness when you are awake. I was, I am, and I shall be in that original state before the I amness came. I am fully established in that unborn state. I am the God, I am the devotee, and I am the worshipping. You must know yourself bereft to the body's sense. The one who expresses, I was not, is secure, stable, and eternal. The one who recognizes the imperfect is perfect and complete. With reference to your true Parabrahman state, Maya does not exist. You know what you are not. What you are, you cannot know. Prior to knowingness is the priormost principle which knows the consciousness. Death is inevitable, so why not accept it right now that it cannot affect you? What you have heard from me is to be understood, used, and given up. Without the body sense, I am perfect, total, and complete. You are changeless and permanent. You have no beginning and no end. You are eternal. Parabrahman is your eternal state. You cannot remember it because you have never forgotten it. Go back to your original state, before this consciousness came upon you. The one which is listening and you do not know is you. As the Absolute, I have no experience of myself. On hearing these words, all your knowledge will evaporate suddenly, and you'll be wonderstruck. I, as the Absolute, do not need this consciousness. Where is the question when the instrument of questioning is kept aside? On your no-knowing state, suddenly the knowingness has appeared and created all the mischief. I am before anything can happen. Knowledge is ignorant. It has a beginning and an end. Had it been real, it would be eternal. Satguru means the eternal state, which will never change, what you are. The one directed by a Satguru has no more birth. His sadhana is over. Why die as a body? Have the highest ambition, so that at least while dying, you are the Absolute. One is the Absolute. No, I am. Two is consciousness. I am. Three is space. World. To know you are nothing is real liberation. When all your knowledge, including yourself, is liquidated, then you are liberated. The unknown is the truth. I have no need of any experience. You are prior to consciousness. In that state, there is no pleasure or pain. What am I when this temporary state is gone and before it comes? That itself is the search. The ultimate knowledge does not have any knowledge. If you have really understood, no questions can arise. Questions arise only to an entity. As long as you believe you are an entity, spiritual salvation and all this talk is useless. As an entity, you want to know the Absolute. It's not possible, because you are the Absolute.
Yo, what's up, salute, Dad?
When you really intuitively understand what I am saying, it's the end of your spiritual search. Prior to consciousness, who is there and with what instrument one can be conscious? The state prior to consciousness is always there. Right now, it is there. Your true identity is a state of not knowing, total, complete, and perfect.
Yo, what's up, salute, Dad?
This sense of presence is unreal, like a dream. Your true state was there before the body and consciousness arose, is there now, and will be after the body and consciousness go. Give thought to the state before experiencing began. Even when the consciousness goes, you prevail. You always are, as the Absolute.
Yo, what's up, salute,
It is the consciousness
Dad?
that gets liberated. There is no entity. It must happen that the consciousness is no longer conscious of itself. Knowingness in its ultimate state is no knowingness. If you have clearly understood what I am saying, you would have no specific intention or interest left. Do everything with the understanding that when the body and consciousness go, you need do nothing. Consciousness disappearing, there will be no sense of presence. But I shall very much be without the sense of presence. Before the I Am arrived, I knew no time, birth. Living and death constitute nothing but time, duration. Come to the firm conclusion that I am nothing. You must have the firm conviction that you are unaffected by birth and death. No knowing is highest in the hierarchy of spirituality. The Absolute transcends both knowing and no knowing. Four, consciousness and the Absolute. The knowledge in you, which knows change, is itself changeless, permanent. You did and do exist unto eternity. Everything is beingness, but I, the Absolute, am not that. The body form is merely an opportunity to experience time. The essence and sum total of this whole talk is called Sat Guru Parabrahman, that state in which there are no requirements. I am the principle which survives all the creations, all the dissolutions. How can questions relating to that which was prior to the body and consciousness be answered? Appearance and disappearance, birth and death, these are qualities of beingness. They are not your qualities. Attain that state which is and was prior to the body. Movement of the Satguru's feet begins from no knowingness to knowingness. Holding the Satguru's feet is a borderline between knowingness and no knowingness. Your true being exists prior to the arising of any concepts. Apprehending this is being dead to. I am the body while alive. beingness forgets itself, that is Parabrahman. I, who am there before consciousness, am not concerned in any way to all that happens in consciousness. Your conviction should be such that no question at all should arise in the future about that. How did I come about? That is a question which needs investigation. Consciousness never comes or goes. It just appears to have come. Can you live like that, as the non-manifest? How can one who is not born die? It is only the consciousness that is going to disappear. The Absolute is always there. What a fall, the perfect state, caught up in these experiences and trying to derive certain benefit from them. The meaning of the mantra I have given you is that you are the manifest dynamic principle, not the body. When you abide in that, you become that. You have identified with the body, but you are not the body. The uniform I amness, known through the body, is available to you. By all means use it, but understand that you are not the uniform. Once you discard this I amness uniform, what remains is a Parabrahman. That which is eternally current is the Parabrahman. Before you were born, could you have felt or sensed or known that you exist without the body? Feeling that I am present depends on having a body. I am neither the body nor the conscious presence. You should not get involved in what has appeared. I am not the seed, I am not the phenomena, nor am I the consciousness which is time-bound. Consciousness alone feels the expanse of consciousness, but I, the Absolute, am not that. The Absolute always remains. There is only one thing to be understood, and that is that you are the formless, timeless, unborn. Nobody is dying because nobody was born. Liberation means it, consciousness, is no more there. Experience occurs where there is a change. If there is no change, there can be no experience. Try to understand what they, parents, could be without their bodies. I was possessed by the 5 elemental ghost, but having stabilized in the Parabrahman, I know what it is and I am out of it. Satguru Parabrahman is all love for no knowingness. Everything which gets consumed, exhausted, is unreal. Prior to your birth and receiving the message, I am, how did you function? What were you? You are, even before the knowingness, you are. There is only one truth in the world, and that is that everything is unreal. When the body and mind drop off, nothing happens. Only I the absolute prevail always. Be what you were prior to the label or title. Be that. Give up all that you have read and just be. Even the experience that you are is not your true identity. Even the experience that you are is not your true nature.
Okay. Rocket, I see you.
Whatever you are prior to the appearance of I am, that is your true nature. It is sufficient to understand, without the slightest doubt, with great conviction, that there is a state prior to the arising of consciousness. There is no individual looking at another individual. The sense of presence is cognizing. Other than that, there is nothing. There is no individual looking at another individual. The sense of presence is cognizing. Other than that, there is nothing. Waking, sleeping, and a sense of presence are all temporary states that have come upon me. I am not the states. Whatever is temporary and time-bound cannot be the truth. I am totally free because I have understood the unreality of that I am. All this play is going on in the flash of your consciousness, and it will come to an end. When you finally know that there is no individual, there will be no questions to ask.
Jacket on the beat.
What is the absolute unmanifested. What appears as if in a dream is the manifested. If you do not take delivery as an individual, but as total functioning, then you are free of whatever is happening. The ultimate is prior to any experience. I amness is the beginning of experience. stabilize in the knowledge I am, and in the process transcend it. You are the Absolute. You swallow the entire universe. This body is continuously changing. It was not there. It appeared and it will disappear. It is not you. You are not born at all. Only the announcement of your existence is there.
Jacket on the beat.
You existed even prior to your birth. Your existence is eternal. But the knowledge that you existed came about when you were a few years old. Prior to any other recognition, you already are. How can there be the experience of truth? It is prior to the beingness. Knowingly, you cannot go into that beyond time. This consciousness, the one full of concepts, is dead to me. It is gone. I have transcended it. When nothing is, you still are. You, the Absolute, watch the consciousness. Therefore you are not that. I am the total functioning every moment, millions of years ago or now. The ultimate principle, which knows this beingness, cannot be named at all. The ultimate you can never be lost. You will only lose what you know. When one subsides in one's true identity, nothing matters because nothing is. You are not that I am. You are as the Absolute prior to this I am. Without the feeling of I am, still you are. I abide in the no-knowing state. When your individuality is dissolved, you will not see individuals anywhere. It is just a functioning in consciousness. A sound is emanating out of the body, just words. It is not somebody talking, just happening, not doing. The Absolute alone prevails. There is nothing but the Absolute. When you are that and convinced so, there's no question of choice or repeating. I am that, I am that. Consciousness has not happened at all. When it tries to understand itself, it gets stabilized in due course in the Absolute. The body is as much use now as it was prior to birth and after the death. The unborn is enjoying the birth principle. That principle took so much time to understand this, and it is the unborn only